I thought I'd try this filming in the car. It's a bit like when you have a conversation with someone in a car. I've always found that if you've got something that's a little bit awkward to talk about, but you want to talk about it with the other person, either be in a car side by side where you don't have to make full eye contact all the time, but you're still right next to the person, or it also works if you're just going for a walk, because you're obviously looking ahead, trying not to fall over your feet or trip over or walk off a cliff or whatever, depending on where you're walking. And it's a really easy, comfortable way to talk to another person. I thought I would try the same. I'm driving, but I obviously have both hands on the wheel or most of the time, or on the road, and I live in Andorra, and the traffic here today is not too bad. Andorra is a little country, very small. God, there's police everywhere. It's a principality between France and Spain in the Pyrenees, and I moved here 3 years ago. The other thing with when I'm doing this kind of style of filming is I don't know where to look at my phone to get my eyes to look right at you. I don't know whether I look at the red record button or I look at the other end. I have to figure that one out. Excuse me, I'm not trying to give you the side eye or not look at you or not look you in the eye, but remember I am driving. And I started my YouTube channel last summer. I had YouTube for years, but I'd never posted on it until regularly last summer. And it's been a really steep learning curve, because you realise that once you've made your video, you've got to do some editing. I didn't understand how people got all these clever effects like words on the screen or changing to, I knew nothing at all about filmmaking, but I have learned a lot in the last 6 months, and it's getting better all the time. So stick with me, because my video quality is improving, I promise. And one of the bits of advice, because I'm kind of learning on the job, so I'm trying to learn to be a better YouTuber, a better creator. But my message is, by the name of my channel, Emma Voysey Health, it's all about health, but it's all about health related to my own health journey, which it's taken me my whole life. I've been on this journey since puberty, and that thing where you just feel like you're not good enough, everyone's looking at you, everyone's judging you, that's always been there, even before we had social media and the internet. And people now say it's so hard for the young people. It's always been hard. It's always been really hard just to be yourself and feel comfortable with yourself, with all the things that we're up against all the time, all the judgments, all the perceived judgments. Because another thing I've come to realise, and I've really only got my head around this, sorry, it's a bit noisy here because we're going through a very long tunnel, but I'm not going to edit this out, because this is supposed to be real and unedited, just bare and truthful. And I'm going to have to edit it out because I've now lost my thread. I'd forgotten what it was I was going to even bloody say. No, get back to it. Come on, think. Right, I realised that I've been on this journey for just about my whole life, and my issue has always been around food, addiction to foods, overeating, feeling disgusted with myself, and then being sick, getting rid of the food, and then doing it again. And it took me from when I don't remember when I first started bringing up food I'd eaten and flushing it down the toilet. I think probably when I was around 14 or 15, and I didn't do it all the time. I didn't eat nothing. I certainly wasn't anorexic. I didn't starve myself, but it was that disgust at feeling greedy and needing to get rid of whatever I'd eaten. And this was back in the 80s, because I'm 56, so I was born in 69, and I'm just 56. And in the 80s, we didn't even have the internet. You read stuff in magazines. Nobody was talking about food addiction or issues around food like that. You knew that anorexia was a thing, but bulimia, I suspect that word was still invented back then, but it certainly wasn't in use, not for a long time. And it was a nasty, dirty little secret that you just kept to yourself because it was embarrassing. And luckily, somehow, I don't know how I did that. I think probably because I did it so often, I think my stomach acid was very weak, because if you keep being sick, your stomach acid is going to get weak. You don't digest your food properly. But I didn't ruin my teeth. And I'm so super glad about that, because a lot of people who suffer from bulimia end up with terrible teeth because their stomach acid washes over their teeth and rots the enamel off. And so lucky enough that didn't happen. But I wasn't lucky in that gradually over the years and the decades of doing this, less as I got older, but it was still there every time I felt out of control, felt like I'd overeaten, be disgusted with myself, stuff myself till I couldn't eat anymore and then be sick. It was still there. It's always bloody well been there. And there have been periods where I did it more and I realised it was giving me terrible headaches, because I think when you keep making yourself sick, you're really running short of minerals. And then if you're not absorbing your food properly because your stomach acid isn't digesting stuff properly because it's too weak, then undigested food particles are passing down into the next stage of your digestion. So that means then your digestion is not happening as it should do. And then you don't go to the loo properly. I used to be just not constipated, just not going to the loo properly. And it's just this horrible, vicious circle of personal abuse. And when you're abusing your body like that, when you're abusing yourself like that, you're giving the message to your subconscious that you are shit, you're crap, you're not worth the air you breathe. Even if your conscious self looks in the mirror and says, yeah, I'm doing okay, I'm in quite good shape, I'm reasonably good looking, people like me, I've got friends. But even if you're consciously telling yourself all those things, your subconscious is hearing, you're just not worth it. You're just not worth it. You are so, it makes me so sad to say this, because it was such a waste of time. I wish I could go back to my teenage self and somehow take away all the anxiety and the dislike of myself. I wish I could have learned to love myself earlier, because I do love myself now, but I feel like I've wasted so much time, and I'm trying not to be in the gap about that. I'm trying not to fall back into regret, and because I can't change any of that, because I did it, it's already happened. But I never thought I had mental health issues, because I just didn't think I did. I met my husband, my life partner, when I was 16. We were up and down for a few years. He went away to uni for 3 years. I went and lived in America for the best part of a year. We both had other relationships during that period, and then we got together full time when I came back from America aged 20. We've been together ever since, and he's my best friend in the whole world. Always has been. And what have I got to be? Why? He adores me. He has always adored me. He's forgiven me all my mistakes, and he just loves me so much, and we have such a brilliant life together. Why did I ever think I wasn't good enough? But I did. And this is what I'm talking about today. It's just how if I could there was a song that came into the charts when I was in my 20s and then back in the 90s called Sunscreen by Baz Luhrmann, and it just resonated with me so much, because already at that point, when this guy's just talking to the mic and giving his advice for life, and he starts off by saying, wear sunscreen. If I could give you one piece of advice, sunscreen would be it. You know, all the rest of what I've got to say is whatever he says. I can't remember the exact words, but you know the song. It's so famous, and it really struck a chord. And back then I was probably 26 or 27 when that came out, and I was in a really good place. We lived in the Middle East, we lived in Qatar. I had 2 beautiful children, 2 girls. We're just, we were making good money. We had a really lovely life, and yeah, I felt already at that point, I realised that I already had these regrets because I didn't feel like I was good enough. And I don't know what or who I was judging that against. I don't know why I've carted this around with me for all these years, but I continue to feel like that. And what I want to just say is, if you feel like that, please go and get some help, because I wish I'd got some help for this when I was younger and stop wasting all this time, because it's just such a waste of time, because I'm in such a good place now, and I do feel more worthy, and I do feel like I'm getting there, and I'm in the best physical shape I've been in for probably forever, actually, because I've just been through this massive health transformation, which didn't really get serious until last spring, when I found Candy Fraser and her Primal Bod program, which was just amazing, because it actually was the only thing I've ever tried, and I've been trying to find my way. I've been trying to find the answers for all these years, and that was the first thing that actually really did make a difference and it totally changed my body. And then I started to like my body more, and I started to feel better. I started to heal my poor, ravaged digestive system, where I'd just been abusing it for all these years. For what? Just because I thought I needed to be skinny, and being slim was how I judged myself. Unless I was slim and fit and my body looked good, I wasn't good enough, and nobody else cared. Nobody else cared. Other people just took me at face value, but I've never been able to do that for myself. And I've just realised, finally, genuinely realised, that that's all that matters, is that you're comfortable in your skin, because everybody else just accepts you for how you are. Everybody else just, they're too busy. We're all too busy thinking about ourselves to be that bothered about what other people's problems and other people things that other people are going through. I won't say of no interest, because of course we're interested in the people we love and the people we care about, but for the most part, you're just another person doing your thing. And I'm rambling now, but I wanted to do a video like this. I wanted to put this out there because I want to be able to help other people to not have to go through what I've been through, and not to waste the time, not to waste years telling your subconscious that you're not good enough, when of course you're good enough. Of course you are. Okay, I'm probably gonna have to edit some of this out. But what I'm actually going to do today, what my main video I was planning to do today, was something completely different, and I will go and work on that now and make a more polished video without all the ums and ahs and the tears halfway through, and I will publish this one, because I think that there's so much on YouTube that is just so curated and groomed and perfect, and I think that just has the effect of making people feel even less of themselves, even worse about themselves, because nobody's perfect, but we're all just doing the best we can, and that's all you can do. You just do the best you can and try to be comfortable in your own skin. And I'm not saying just give up, abandon, give up all hope, because I feel passionately that being in good health is the most important thing, and I have felt passionate about that for forever. That's always been my thing. I've always wanted to find the path to health, and I've always believed that taking medications and going to the doctor and getting prescriptions for things was not the way. It wasn't the way for me. I knew that was not the answer, because I know that those people, nobody knows you as intimately as you know yourself. So it's about learning your own body and trying to help yourself, support yourself by doing the right things for yourself. And obviously the right thing is not eating too much food and then making yourself sick afterwards. That's a terrible idea. But having been on this journey and achieved this incredible transformation just in the last, what are we now, it's 9 or 10 months, a little bit longer, because I sort of got some of the way there earlier in the year. I was in so much pain. I had so much gut pain, and it was unexplained, and it would just flare up, and I'd have bloating, and IBS is such a sort of, it's just such a blanket term for gut pain, and it doesn't, because you know, how can a medical professional, just talking to you and listening to your symptoms, how can he or she look inside you and know what's wrong with you? And then you go for scans, and then they look inside you and say, no, there's nothing wrong with you, but you know there is something wrong. But I did this elimination diet. I eliminated just everything, except I was mostly just eating meat and very, very small amounts of vegetables, because it seemed to be that the vegetables and the beans and the grains, they were all the things that were really making me flare up. So initially I did an elimination carnivore style diet, and I only did that really strictly for a few weeks, because then I found Candy's program, and I looked into it, and I just thought she just sounded like she knew what she was talking about, and I just trusted her from the outset, and I joined her program. I had some commission came in on a deal I'd done, and it was just like I needed $1,500 to pay for her program, and then I got paid 1,500 euros for something, and that's kind of like the euros and American dollars were quite similar at the time. And I joined the course, and it was just the best thing I've ever done, because it's enabled me to eat the right kind of food, to lose the cravings, to lose the addictions, and to therefore stop needing to be sick, stop the bulimia, start to feel better about myself, start to look better, which makes you feel better about yourself again, lose the body fat, lost about 20 pounds, gained muscle. It's just such a great thing. And to have paid $1,500, and people say, yeah, but what is the Primal program? What do you do? I can't sit here and explain to you in a nutshell what it is, because there's so much learning. It's so worth the money, because there's so much teaching in the program, and Candy really cares about the women, mostly women. She really, really cares about the women in her program, and it comes across, and hundreds of us, I think thousands of us now, have succeeded in curing all sorts of issues, all sorts of problems, just doing her program. So there's that, and that's me. I need to stop doing this because I'm home now, which is why I took off my seatbelt. And thank you for watching. It was easier to tell you this with you sitting beside me in the car. My audience was there, and I was just driving and talking. And I really appreciate that you listened. And if you listen to the end, please watch my other videos. Please listen in again. I'm building a community. I want people to talk to each other. I want us all to talk about how we can help each other, and how you're not on your own. And even, you know, people can't all afford to go and pay for some highly trained specialist to listen to their problems one-to-one, but we can talk in groups, and group therapy really helps, because then you find out about other people's experiences, and then you can learn from them, and they can learn from you, and it's just a lovely two-way or many-way street. Right, on that note, thank you for watching. I will see you on my next video. Bye bye for now.